Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to today's session. In today's video, we are going to discuss the PYQs of 2021 for economics for the SEBI Grade A. Now, economics is a very important subject for you to become the SEBI officer. Economics is very important for the SEBI Grade A. Now, economics is also considered as one of the most difficult and hard to understand subject. It is considered a very typical subject. So how well you are performing in the economics for the SEBI Grade A, how well your preparation is going on, as well as how right on track you are. So today let's gauge that, let's test that how well you are performing, how well your preparation is going. So let's discuss the PYQs of 2021 today. But before starting with this PYQs, there is a big announcement from EduTap also that we have brought for you the comprehensive guidebook for the SEBI Grade A so that you can have all the answers at one place. So if you have any query regarding the examination, that what is the cutoff of the previous year, what is the pattern of the exam, what are the syllabus of the exam, what is the syllabus of the exam, so all these common queries can be answered through a single guidebook, and here are the definitive answers that are provided for you. Even if you want to know about the preparation, that what should be the sources for the preparation, what should be the strategy for the preparation, so that is provided here. As well as even if you want to know about the organization, all your common queries can be answered through a single guidebook. You do not have to go at different links, different websites. You do not have to visit different links to different websites. As well as it is absolutely free of cost to save your time, to save your efforts, and you can easily download this guidebook. The link is provided in the description box below. So do download this guidebook. Okay. Now coming to our today's first question, that is, here, I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. If your concepts are clear, this is a very easy question, okay? So the question is saying that the GDP of America is $5,766 and the GNP of America is $5,796. So first of all, the GNP is greater than the GDP. So what it is telling us? It is telling us that there is the positive net factor income from abroad. That is, that this positive net factor income from abroad, when it is added to the GDP, then it becomes the GNP. Okay, so what I'm saying, so if you are new to economics and if you are not very clear about the concepts, then you might have this problem in economics. Okay, so what is this? So this is GDP, that is gross domestic product. Now what is this? This is GNP, that is gross national product. So the difference is between the domestic and national, from the domestic and national. Now when you add the net factor income from abroad, then it becomes GNP. Now when you deduct the net factor income from abroad from the GNP, then it becomes the GDP. So I hope you are clear with the formula. So here the GNP is greater than the GDP. That is, there is some positive net factor income from abroad that is added to the GDP to get the GNP. So the first is the correct answer. Okay. So I hope you have understood this very clearly. Let's understand the GDP and GNP a little better. So the gross domestic product, we have to add the net factor income from abroad to make the gross national product. Now gross domestic product is what? It is whatever is being produced in the domestic territory of the country, whoever is producing it. Indians are producing it, the normal residents of our country is producing it, or some foreigner is producing it. There is no distinction between that. Only the production should be happening in our country, in the domestic territory of our country. So that gets included in the domestic product, gross domestic product. Now what about the rent that we are getting from abroad? Like I have some property in abroad and I am a citizen of India, and I'm getting the earnings from outside because I have some property abroad and I'm getting rent from that property. I have some business abroad, I'm getting profits from that business. So what about that? What is happening to that? So that is the net factor income from abroad. That is whatever the factor income that is being earned from abroad minus the factor income that is going to abroad. Okay, so whatever the foreign nationals are earning in our country, they are taking it back to their country. So that is deducted. Factor income to abroad means whatever the foreigners are earning in our country, that is deducted. So this is the net factor income from abroad. Okay, so here in the gross national product, so what we are doing, we are seeing the gross national product means we are seeing that what is being produced by the normal residents of our country, what is being produced by the citizens of our country, or what is being earned by the citizens of our country or the people that are residing in our country for a period longer than 1 year or such. So I hope you will remember that gross national product means whatever is being produced or income that is being earned by the normal residents. Gross domestic product means whatever is being earned or produced in the domestic territory. So here the income of the foreigners is also being added in the gross domestic product. So to cater to that, the net factor income from abroad is added to the gross domestic product, so that we can add the factor income from abroad that is coming to our country, and we can deduct the factor income to abroad that is going to the foreign. Okay, so through this we are coming to the gross national product to see that what our citizens are actually earning, or what our factor factor sources are earning, factor resources are earning. So to see that, we see the gross national product. Now from the gross national product, if we want to see the gross domestic product, we have to deduct the net factor income from abroad to get the gross domestic product. So I hope you are clear with this identity. Okay, now coming to the second question, that if balance of payment is always balanced, what it means. Now balance of payment has two accounts, the current account and the capital account. Balance of payments is balanced. That means that if there is the surplus in the current account, there is the deficit in the capital account, so that is balanced. Okay, there is 10 extra rupees that is coming in our country through the current account, so there is 10 extra rupees that is going out of the country through the capital account. Now if there is a deficit in the current account, there is a surplus in the capital account. So that is how the balance of payments are balanced. Okay, because there are two accounts, now they need to be balanced for the balance of payment to be balanced. Now if there is the current account surplus, then the capital account is in deficit of that amount, of the same amount, and if the current account deficit is being balanced by the surplus of the capital account, so there is the balanced balance of payment. Okay, so the balance of payment is the difference between the funds that is being received by the country and the funds that is being paid by the country for the international transactions. Okay, so the current account must be balanced by the capital account for the balance of payments to be balanced. Okay, because there are the two accounts in the balance of payment. So if there is a deficit in the current account, there must be some surplus in the capital account to balance that. If there is surplus in the current account, to balance that, there must be deficit in the capital account that is matching the surplus. So I hope you are clear with it. You can also read it. So now coming to the third question. So here, what is the equilibrium point? So the demand equation is given, the supply equation is given. Now in the market, what happens that the demand is equal to the supply. So here the market is in equilibrium. Here the market is in equilibrium. That is, the demand equation is this and the supply equation is this. So here the demand is equal to supply. So if we calculate this, we will come to the equilibrium, price, equilibrium, quantity. So this is the equilibrium point, that is demand is equal to supply. So here the price will be, so you can take it that 15 equal to 5p. So the price is coming at 3. So the price is coming at 3. So now here, if you keep the 3 as price, you will get the demand as 9. If you keep the 3 as price, you will get the supply as 9 also. So you can see that the supply and the demand are equating, and that's why there is the equilibrium in the market, because the demand is of 9 product and the supply is also of the 9 product. So whenever the equilibrium is being asked, so what you have to do, you have to equate the two equations. Okay, so price is 3, quantity is 9, so the right answer is B. Here you can see this is the market equilibrium where the demand is equal to supply. Okay, easy question, basic concepts you have to put. So now if the producers bear the tax, what is the elasticity of demand and supply? So here what is happening, that the producers are bearing the tax. So first option is saying taxation has no impact on elasticity of the curve. So this doesn't seem right, because the question is saying that why the producers are bearing the tax. Next is elastic demand and supply. So again both are elastic. So how do we compare? Next is inelastic supply and elastic demand. Now here you have to understand that if the demand is elastic, that means if the prices are rising, the demand will reduce by huge. and there will be huge losses to the producer. And when the price is rising, when the inelastic supply is there, if the price is rising or if the price is falling, the supplier cannot reduce or increase the supply because the supply cannot change by much. So here the producer will have to bear the tax, because even if the producer is taking the loss, even if the producer is bearing the tax, he cannot reduce the supply because the supply is inelastic. So in this case, the producer will have to bear the tax, because if he try to increase the price, the demand will go away, the supply cannot be changed, so he will have to sell. Where he will sell when the demand is becoming zero or the demand is reducing to a lot when the prices are being raised. So when in the case of cigarette, okay, cigarette is the opposite. In the case of cigarette, the elastic supply is there. So here let's see. So in the case of cigarette, the supply is elastic. The supply is elastic and the demand is inelastic. So even if the price of cigarette is increasing, the demand will not change much. So here what the producers will do, producers will put the burden of the tax on consumers. Okay, so the demand will not change much because the demand is inelastic in the case of the cigarette. But in the case of the vegetables, if the price are increased, what will happen, that the demand will decrease to quite a lot. We will not buy this particular vegetable, we will not buy onion for some time, or we will reduce the demand for onion a lot. So the burden of the tax cannot be put on the consumers because there is inelastic supply and elastic demand. But in the case of cigarette, the burden can be put on consumers. So you have to remember that the producers will bear the tax if their supply is inelastic. The consumers will bear the tax if the demand is inelastic. Okay, so here you can read it all. Now coming to this question, NBFCs can accept public deposits up to how many months? So this is maximum. Remember this is maximum. Do not get confused. Here the minimum is not being asked. Here the maximum is being asked. Okay, so here the answer is 60. So the NBFCs are allowed to accept or renew the public deposits for a minimum period of 12 months and the maximum period of 60 months. Okay, you have to remember that the NBFCs cannot take the demand deposits, that is, you are depositing and the next day you are saying give back my money. That you cannot do. You have to save the money for 12 months with the NBFC. Okay, so that is NBFCs cannot accept the demand deposits. They have to take the time deposits. Now coming to this question, which of the following is not the characteristic of NBFC? Okay, so first of all, NBFCs cannot accept the demand deposit from the NRIs. They cannot accept the demand deposits from anyone. Okay, they need not maintain the CRR and SLR as prescribed by RBI. This is also true. Like the banks, they are under the regulation of the RBI directly. NBFCs, some NBFCs are also under the regulation of RBI, but the banks have to maintain the CRR and SLR because they have to give the money. SLR is the statutory liquidity ratio. So the banks have to maintain liquidity so that they can give back the money that the people are demanding. I have deposited 100 rupees today. Tomorrow I will demand 10 rupees. So the bank has to give me this 10 rupees. So for this demand deposits, the banks have to maintain the SLR and CRR. The NBFCs, they are not taking the demand deposits and that's why they are not maintaining the CRR and SLR also. Like they do not have to maintain it as per the prescription of the RBI. The deposits taken by NBFCs are secured by DICGC, so this is wrong. NBFCs do not form the part of payment and settlement system of our country. This is correct because they are not taking the demand deposits. They cannot issue checks drawn on itself. They are not doing the demand deposits, so they do not have to issue the check. Why the C statement is wrong, and that's why it is not the characteristic of NBFC. So the answer is C. So the DICGC is the deposit insurance facility of the deposit insurance. This is given by Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. That is, your deposits are insured, and this is the facility only in the banks. Okay, this is the facility that is provided by the Reserve Bank of India for the deposits in the banks only. Okay, your 5 lakh of the money, if you have deposited 4 lakh in PNB, let's say, your 4 lakh are secured. If the PNB is going down, the 4 lakh will be given by the DICGC. If you have 6 lakh in the ICICI bank, let's say, any bank, So your only 5 lakh is secured, that 1 lakh, that 6 out of the 6 lakh, you will only get 5 lakh. So this is the deposit insurance facility that is provided by the DICGC, but this facility is not for the NBFCs. So you can see that this statement is wrong, and that's why this is not a characteristic of NBFC. Now coming to which of the following is correct regarding Kuhnot's oligopoly model. So here cartel is non-cooperative oligopoly. So we have to see that which is of the following is correct, okay, regarding Kuhnot. So Kuhnot, first of all, is not related to cartel. So this statement does not even belong to Kuhnot model. Game theory is applied to Kuhnot oligopoly model. Game theory is when the two players are interacting. But in the Kuhnot oligopoly model, the two players do not interact at all. Firm decides its output based on the assumption that the rival firm comes up with constant output. So this is the assumption that is taken in the oligopoly model, and this is the right answer of this question. Oligopoly is more competitive than perfect competition. No, perfect competition is perfectly competitive. So of course, nothing can be more competitive than perfect competition. Perfect competition allows only a few sellers. That is wrong. In the perfect competition, there are the large number of sellers that are present. So here you can see that in the Kuhnot, there are the duopolists, and they decide the amount of output assuming that the other firm is keeping the output constant. In the Burton model, this is also a classical model. So the price is like I am deciding my price assuming that the other firm is keeping the price constant. In the Edgeworth also I am deciding my price thinking that the other firm is keeping its price constant. But in the Edgeworth model there is no equilibrium that is met. But in the Burton and Kuhnot, both the equilibrium is being met. Okay, so that is, I hope, the basic idea. The other I have taken a lecture on the models of oligopoly, so you can see that there are many models of oligopoly. There is the cartel models, there is the joint profit maximization model, Sweezy model, and many other models. But the basic idea of Kuhnot model is this, that the firm is deciding its output thinking that the other firm will keep the output constant. So here you can read that why the other options are wrong. Why the game theory is not there? Because the game theory studies the interactive decision making, but there is no interaction between the two firms in the Kuhnot model. I am thinking that the other firm will keep its output constant, I am deciding on my own. I am not interacting with the other firm. I am not discussing with the other firm. So there is no game theory in the Kuhnot model or in the Burton model also. Which of the following statement with respect to the LM curve is not correct? So here you have to tell that. Again, if you are very clear with the ISLM model, you will be able to answer this question very easily. Okay, very easily. So here the right answer is this. Just by seeing the question, you should be able to tell that this is the right answer. That here this statement is wrong, and that's why this is the right answer. Because first of all, the high interest rate elasticity leads to flat LM curve. There are the two conditions for the flat LM curve. Flat LM curve, low income elasticity and high interest elasticity. For the steep LM curve, the high income elasticity and low interest elasticity. Just by seeing the question, you should be able to tell that this statement is wrong, because for the steep LM curve there should be low interest elasticity. Okay, so for the first statement, shift to left. So LM curve is shifting when the money demand increased. So here I hope you already know this diagram. Here is the money supply. This is the money demand. Here we take the interest rate, and here we take the quantity of money. And this is the LM curve. This is income and this is rate of interest. So here it is saying that there is the shift when the money demand is increasing. So the rate of interest is increasing. So let's say money demand is increasing not because of the income per se, but the money demand is increasing at the constant income. So that is when the money demand increases at the constant income, the rate of interest is increasing. So at the same income, the rate of interest is increasing. That means the LM curve is shifting upwards. Okay, so this statement is correct. LM curve will shift leftwards or upwards if there is the increase in the money demand without the income involved. LM curve will shift to right when the money supply is increased. So this is also correct. If the money supply is shifting rightwards, decrease of the rate of interest is happening, decrease of the rate of interest is happening at the same level of income. So when the rate of interest is decreasing at the same level of income, LM curve will shift rightwards. LM curve shifts in accordance with liquidity preference. So this is also correct. When the money demand is changing, the LM curve will also shift. So for this, you must have the basic understanding of these two, that when the LM curve will be flat, when the LM curve will be steep, when the LM curve or the IS curve will shift. So I hope you already know this and your concepts are clear if you already know this, okay? So this is a homework question. Now this is not a PYQ. So we have done with the PYQ. So we have done the PYQ, the first part of the PYQ where we did the questions for the SEBI Grade A, PYQ of the SEBI Grade A, phase 1 of the 2021. In the next session, we will bring the phase 2 questions that will be a lot harder questions than these. So we will do the phase 2 questions. In the next session, we will bring the phase 2 questions for the PYQ of the SEBI Grade A for the 2021. Okay, that will be a lot harder questions. Okay, so now this is the homework question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question, and this is the second homework question. Okay, these two questions are from the phase 1 perspective because we have done the PYQs of the phase 1 for the 2021, and so these questions are with respect to the phase 1 criteria and they are relatively easy. I hope you will be easily able to answer these two questions. They are the homework questions. So thank you very much. If you have any query, you can mail us here or you can contact us through this number. Okay, thank you very much everyone.